Welcome back. This is Don Potter, and we're going to be looking at the Romance level. So we finished the prefixes and suffixes, the Anglo-Saxon level of English. That's the basic English, true English level of the language. Now we're going to be looking at the Romance level, and if you notice, you have Romance comes from the idea of Rome, and the language that was spoken there, many languages, but the language of the government, and was Latin. And then many years later, the Latin was transformed into several offshoots, several other languages. Spanish, for example, and here French. And French is especially important for us because in 1066, William the Conqueror conquered England and brought the French language, which for many years was the language of government, court, military. So you have Latin in the church, and you have French being spoken in the government and the courts. And so many of these words filtered into the English language. So we're going to be looking at the Romance prefixes, and notice the ones we're looking at today, are long vowels in open syllables. That means a syllable that does not end with a consonant, rather ends with a vowel. And so in accented syllables, these are long. So let's look at the first one here. We have re, which means back or again. And so we have return, like return your library book, take your library book back. So you have re, which means back or again, and the word turn. Next we have react, and again notice the E is at the end of the syllable, so it's going to be long. React. Next one is remember. So you think of something in the past and you remember it, you think about it, you bring it back into your memory. Relax. Maybe you've been tense and you're going to sit down and relax, watch a show or read a book, write a story or poem. Then you have recall. That's a major skill in comprehension. Recalling the facts and the details in a story is very important so you can get the right answer on the comprehension question or application in your life. Next you have reduce, and we'll be studying deuce later on, which means has the idea of to lead. But to reduce is to make something less. And so maybe you go on a diet because you want to reduce your weight a little bit. Next we have reduction. And so again, we add the tion to the end of reduce, and we have reduction, a reduction. So when you have a reduction, you have less than what you had before. D means from or away. Those that speak Spanish like me, we use that all the time. And so we have, and French, of course, or Latin, we have deform. So that is away from the form. So it's not the right form. And next we have delight. What a delightful study. What a delightful study. It's very delightful to study the Romance prefixes. It's a delight. It's fun, and it's going to help us read better. Next we have department, like a department store. Next one we have destroy, and notice every one of these long vowels in open syllables. So you're not going to say def, del, dep, and des in these words. It's not destroy, it's destroy, destroy. Destroy. technically they're long vowels. When we say them pretty fast, though, they reduce to a schwa, destroy. Next, we have detest. When you don't like something, you detest it. Mr. Potter detests chips when you get them and they're hot. I think they shouldn't be hot. But anyway, next we have dejected. And later you will learn that ject means to throw or throw out. And deject has the idea of to throw away. And then you've already had the Anglo-Saxon suffix ed. So notice how that we're taking Romance layers in English and mixing them with the Anglo-Saxon layer in order to form our words. Next we have defender. A defender is somebody that's going to protect you. They're going to defend you. They're going to keep the enemy away. Number 5 is pre. Well, we use this a lot as pretend. When kids are playing cops and robbers, they pretend. Next we have preview. That we know what view means, to see something. So preview means to see it before or ahead of time. Prevent. We drive carefully so that we can prevent an accident. Mr. Potter teaches phonics so we can prevent guessing. Language reading is not a guessing game. The scientists have proven that beyond the shadow of a doubt. Next we have present. This is interesting. It's present. And again, it means to like sent. And then you have before, present. If you shift the accent to the end, let's see, present. It can be present or it can be present. So that's homograph, I believe. Next we have readjust. That makes sense. You get in your car and you adjust your seatbelt. Doesn't feel comfortable, so you unhook it and you do it again. So you readjust. You make it where that it feels good. Predict. Dict here, you'll learn later, means to speak or to say when you study the Romance roots. And pre means again. So when you predict, you think about what is going to happen in the future, and you make a prediction. Prophets predict what's going to happen in the future. Next, you have preheat, and some foods that you eat, you're supposed to preheat the food. Heat it ahead of time. By, let's do number 4. By means to. So we have bicycle. That's a bicycle with 2 wheels. Of course, a monocycle would be one with 1 wheel. Bilateral means 2-sided, like a bilateral agreement. Bifocals is what I have on right now, so I can see you better. And I have glasses up here and I have glasses down here. And so I can use this one pair of glasses instead of have to put reading glasses on and off. And I just wear the same glasses. Anyway, that's bifocals. Very good to have. I think Benjamin Franklin, I'm pretty sure Benjamin Franklin actually invented those. Next, we have bilingual. Mr. Potter's bilingual. Yo hablo español. I speak and love Spanish. Spanish, everything about it. I hope if you don't know Spanish, I hope you learn Spanish. The literature is so rich, and the poetry, and there is so much. And I made my living 15 years as a bilingual teacher, and I taught secondary Spanish. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. Become bilingual if you can. Next, we have biplane, which is an airplane with 2 wings. And bisect is when you take something and you cut it in half. You bisect it, and then you end up with 2 pieces instead of 1. Number 5, we're going to do tri, which means 3. So we have triangle. Notice again, we have the long vowel sound because it's at the end of that, the vowel's at the end of the syllable, and it's an accented syllable. We could have written the accent like triangle. That's 3 angles, right? 1, 2, 3. 3 angles. Then we have tricycle. A bicycle we studied had 2, that's not a very good 2, had 2 wheels, A tricycle has 3 wheels. A trilateral, we did bilateral up here, meant 2, right? But trilateral means 3 sides. 3 sides. Next we have trilingual. So if you know 2 languages, you're bilingual. If you know 3 languages, you are trilingual. Next we have pro, which means before. Notice we had pre meant before. Pro means before. So we have profound. When something is profound, it's very important. We have project, or it can be project. The O is long here. Ject means to throw. And so when you project something, you throw it up on the screen, right? You put something on the screen with the projector over here. You got your lens coming out. Anyway, so you're projecting it up there. It's not very easy to write with a mouse. Next we have promote. That is really interesting. Mote means to believe. So when you promote something, you're trying to advance it. You're trying to move it ahead. And then you have proclaim. Claim here has the idea of crying out. And so when you proclaim something, you make a proclamation. Maybe you're going to have a new day in the year named after somebody famous. And so you make a proclamation. Co means together or with. And so here we have coordinate. When you coordinate things, maybe you have 2 groups of people working together, making their efforts. Maybe they take clocks and set their clock so they can coordinate and do what they're supposed to do at the same time. Maybe have like a military operation. Next we have coexist. Sometimes people that don't really like each other still live together because they just coexist. Not the best situation. And then we have cooperate. When people work together, they cooperate. All right, now this is lesson 11, and we're just introducing Romance prefixes. Notice number 1, we've got a whole bunch of these coming up that are all going to help you to become a much better reader. So when you read, pay attention to the words and take a page maybe and go down and see how many of these prefixes you can find. Train your eyes to see these prefixes. Watch this video's training as many times as you need to till you know these inside and out.